Good morning. I'm meteorologist Jeff Gerber. Thanks for joining me this morning. We're going to be giving you a look at the weather as we go through the next 15 minutes. We'll be looking at our 7-day forecast, which looks like it's going to be a nice one, especially if you've been looking for some drier weather. We've got plenty of that to come over the next 7 days. Of course, we're going to be looking at the forecast for this afternoon into tonight. A lot cooler tonight as we'll drop off into the 60s. And then another thing we're going to be looking at is the tropics. We have 3 different things out there right now the Hurricane Center is tracking. One of them is a dying hurricane, another one is a new tropical storm, and then the third one is an area of disturbed weather that looks like it might be headed for the East Coast. Earlier this morning we didn't think it was going to maybe reach the East Coast, but now computer model runs showing maybe parts of the southeastern U.S. could be dealing with a hurricane as we head towards maybe early next week, and we'll be showing you that coming up in just a little bit. First off, let's take a look at what you can expect for the rest of the afternoon. Clouds are starting to clear out of here, and we'll see temperatures up into the middle 80s, around 85 to maybe 87 throughout the area. Looking nice as humidity levels are slowly dropping. That's going to feel nice the next few days. As we head towards 6 o'clock, temperatures are going to be backing off into the lower 80s, and then by 10 o'clock, temperatures back into the middle 70s as we head towards the late evening hours. And then eventually tomorrow morning, we'll see temperatures back into the middle 60s, which will be very nice. Our normal high for this, our normal low for this time of year, it's right around 68. We'll see those numbers falling back down into the middle 60s. So a little bit below normal temperature-wise, not only tomorrow morning, but as we go through the next 7 days. And we'll, of course, show you that in the 7-day forecast. Algae report looks a little Christmassy as we see red and green out there on the algae report. Tree is low as well as grass. Weed is a little high, 226 there, and then mold is on the heavy side up over 13,000. So if you're sniffing and sneezing, might be a weed or mold problem out there for you. As we take a look outside, clouds are starting to clear out a little bit. The closer you get to the coast, closer to that front, we see a little bit more cloud cover. Here's what it looks like from our 12 News studio. This camera brought to you by Mid-County Plumbing, part of the Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. And blue skies pushing in here. Same deal over towards Lake Charles. They have a few clouds off in the distance there as we look at the port of Lake Charles on our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. But quiet conditions over there in Lake Charles. Plenty of sunshine. Expecting more of the same as we go through not only this weekend, but through the next 7 days. A few clouds here and there. That is about it. Some beneficial rains we picked up over the last couple of days. Some areas picking up about a half an inch or so, and other places picking up over a couple of inches in rain. I know at the airport, we were behind by about 7.5 inches of rain about a week and a half ago, and now we're closer to about 5 inches behind. So we picked up a couple of inches of beneficial rains out at the Jack Brooks Regional Airport. Here's a look up towards Jasper. A lot more blue skies up there. You get a little bit farther away from the front. We don't see as much cloud cover. This is brought to you by Provalis. And looking at the Jasper County Courthouse, just a few little puffy clouds there, little cumulus clouds popping up there. I'm sure there's a couple more around, but with our view there from our camera, just seeing a few clouds. So you'll need the sunglasses this afternoon. Low humidity though working in. It's going to feel fairly nice, even though we're going to get up into those middle 80s for this afternoon. Not too bad out there if you have to be working or playing outdoors. Of course, I'd still stay hydrated, but you won't have to take as many breaks as it'll feel a little bit more comfortable. Here's a look over towards Orange. Once again, as you look off towards the east, you see a little bit more cloud cover because that's the direction of that cold front pushing off towards the east. It looks like we're currently in the middle 80s already in Orange at 85. The humidity is dropping 62%, so that's not too bad. And we're seeing those north winds at about 5, and that's what's helping bring in some of that drier air, that north to northwesterly wind, anywhere between, say, 5 to 8 miles per hour right now. So looking pretty good there. Also, traffic's looking pretty good, heading out towards I-10, maybe getting on I-10, head over to Lake Charles or maybe Beaumont for lunch today. It looks like no problems right there on I-10. As traffic's going along pretty smoothly. And then I take a look at Packer-LaPrade downtown. Beaumont skyline also showing just a few clouds as we look off towards the north. So just a few clouds as some of those drier air starting to work into the area. Currently downtown we're showing 82 degrees, humidity at 59%, so even lower than we're seeing over in Orange. And we're seeing a north wind once again about 4 to 5 miles per hour. Rain downtown picked up not quite a tenth of an inch of rain since midnight. There were a few showers through the overnight. Most of the heavy rain this morning was down along the coast, and that's already cleared out of the coastline there, so looking good there. All right, let's take a look at some temperatures outside. Officially showing 83 in Port Arthur, 84 in Orange, and then 83 in Beaumont, that's west of town at Municipal Airport. Lower 80s also as you head up into Woodville at 82, Jasper's at 82, Silsbee's at 82, Kirbyville's at about 84. Have a number there at the bottom of your screen. This is a number that you can text us any message you want to as far as what the weather's going to be doing. We'll answer any weather questions. Just answered a question a little bit earlier this morning. People want to know what the rest of the hurricane season looks like. Well, we can kind of only go out to about 7 to 10 days, but right now the next 7 to 10 days look quiet for us. But questions like that we'll take at the phone. Like I said, we won't answer phone calls. Phone's not set up really for that, but we definitely take your text message if you have a question about hurricane season, or maybe about the East Coast for maybe late this weekend, early next week, as it looks like that we will have maybe a tropical weather system moving in towards maybe Georgia or South Carolina heading into late this weekend, early next week. But 409-749-9302. If you don't have a question today, you might want to write it down. Put on there, you know, weather line or something like that. And if you do have a question sometime, we're not on the air or whatever, you can text us a question and we'll try to get to it as quick as we can. All right, let's take a look at radar right now. Most of the activity is down off towards our southeast. That's where the front is. This is all just false returns to the radar because we're going more into a little bit clearer mode. So it looks like there's rain there, but there's not. So we just showed you the sky cams where we're seeing blue skies. So got to have a few clouds before you can get a little bit of rain. All right, here's the front. It continues to push towards the south and east. Still a few showers on the back side of the front, but the heaviest stuff definitely out ahead of the front, and you can see that out into the Gulf as everything's kind of pushing off towards the east and southeast. Behind it, we're seeing mostly clear skies through North Texas to Texas Panhandle, looking clear this morning. Also around the Red River Valley, not looking bad at all. And still have some showers just off the coast, maybe down towards Victoria, a few showers there, and also a little bit of wet weather through south central Louisiana. But looks like we're clearing up pretty nicely here in southeast Texas, and we're looking for a nice dry period through the next several days. So if you have any outdoor activities you want to get done, maybe an outdoor project, building something out in the backyard, laying some concrete or something like that, this might be a really good time to do it with the lower humidities and the clearing skies out there. Let's check the rest of the country real quick. A lot of activity, of course, ahead of that front down into the Gulf. We just talked about that. And then look how much it's clearing out through parts of the Midwest, Rocky Mountain states behind that front as that cooler air comes in, that much drier air comes in. So very quiet through the Midwest for this morning. A couple of showers over towards the Boot Hill, Missouri. And then as we look at the northern end of that front, bringing in some wet weather through parts of New York. Looks like Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut getting some rain out there for this morning. Also back into Vermont. Also looks like parts of Pennsylvania getting fairly wet with some showers and thunderstorms. Some of those working their way down into parts of the mid-Atlantic states. Looks like the Carolinas getting a little rain. Georgia getting some rain for this morning. And then West Coast looks fairly quiet, but there is a little disturbance here. Northern California into Nevada, bringing some little bit of wet weather there. So much needed rainfall for parts of the West Coast there. So I'm sure they're happy with a little bit of rainfall. Not much, but a little bit of rain out towards parts of Nevada. All right, let's check our Futurecast. Now, Futurecast for some reason does show a couple of showers popping up this afternoon. I really don't see that happening as things really are clearing out. So we'll ignore that. Temperatures into the lower 80s as we go through the afternoon, and then we fall back into the 70s this evening, and then eventually we'll see those 60s as we head towards tomorrow morning. A lot of middle to lower 60s, so looking pretty good. As we head towards tomorrow, we'll see a quick warm up into the 80s by lunchtime, and then we'll go into the upper 80s for the afternoon. Once again, I think Futurecast is overdoing a little bit with the cloud cover for tomorrow. We'll go mostly sunny tomorrow as we'll see comfortable conditions with lower humidities. All right, let's check the tropics. Like I said, we have three things out there the Hurricane Center is tracking. This is what's left over of Gabrielle. It continues to move off towards the east, weakening. This is our new tropical storm. This is Umberto. They're expecting this to ramp up and become a major hurricane maybe by the end of the weekend into early next week. And then we have a disturbance down here in the northern part of the Caribbean around Puerto Rico. That is supposed to work its way up towards the Bahamas, then eventually up into maybe the southeastern U.S. So if you have maybe a cruise set for the Bahamas, something you might be watching out for here. Hurricane Center says this has a 90% chance of developing, and right now it looks like if it does move up into this direction, it looks like some of the computer models, which were taking it and spinning it off out into the Atlantic, right now they're changing their course back up into maybe Georgia, South or North Carolina as we head towards sometime early next week. So something to watch out for. If this gets a name, believe it or not, the name will be Imelda. So this will be one that we kind of remember in our area with all the flooding, but this is going to be working its way up towards that southeastern part of the U.S., so something we're watching for. Right now it does not look like it's going to be affecting the northwestern Gulf here, so not too concerned about this at all. We'll watch it. We'll keep you updated, because I know a lot of folks have friends and family or maybe travel plans for that part of the country, but right now we're not too worried about that. And then, of course, like I said, we have a new tropical storm. This is Umberto. Winds now at about 50 miles an hour. It is moving to the northwest at 8 miles per hour, and as it moves off towards the north and west, it's supposed to strengthen. They're thinking this might be a major hurricane with winds of 120 as we head towards Sunday into Monday. Now, indications are now that this is going to continue to move up off the East Coast and go back out into the Atlantic. We could have two hurricanes right beside each other, one right off the East Coast and then another one just to the east of that. So we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out as we head towards, like I said, late this week into early next week. But interesting out there into the Atlantic. Things getting a little bit more active this time of year. We're actually a little past the peak of hurricane season, so something we'll be tracking definitely as we go through the next several days and letting you know what's going on. But like I said, right now the Gulf looks quiet for the next 7-10 days, so good news for us. All the activities out in the Atlantic. Hopefully this one won't brush by the East Coast and maybe not go right into the southeastern U.S. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, we'll keep you updated on that. Our forecast: northwesterly winds at 10 to 15 knots, seas from 2 to 3 feet along our coast today. Next high tide 7:19. Our sunset tonight's at 7:08 with a light chop on the inland lakes and bays. Winds are fairly light across Texas Point right now. Northeast at 3 to 6 with water temperature in the upper 80s. So decreasing clouds through the afternoon. A lot of them's already moved out of here. We'll see a northwesterly wind at 3 to 8. Temperatures anywhere from say about 85 to maybe 87, maybe even a little bit warmer down towards the triangle here. And then mostly clear tonight. No rain expected. Northwesterly winds at 3 to 8. And mild temperatures. We're looking at anywhere from 67, 68 towards the coast, all the way back to 63, 64 in the lakes area. So a nice start tomorrow morning, a little bit on the mild side there. And then our 7-day forecast, really just more of the same as we go through the weekend into next week. We don't see a whole big fluctuation there in temperatures. We go 86 tomorrow and then up to about 91 on Wednesday. So not looking too bad there. And then morning lows anywhere from about 64 to about 67. So morning lows are going to be nice and mild through the weekend into early next week as well. So looking very good in our 7-day forecast. Like I said, you have those outdoor projects. You need 3 or 4 days of some dry weather. This might be the great time to do that. Or just maybe going to be a little bit more comfortable if you're exercising in the morning. Maybe go out for that morning run. It's going to feel very nice as we go through the next 7 days. All right, we're going to wrap up this stream. Of course, later on today, Kerry Cooper is going to be here, and he'll be doing the stream from 6:30 to 6:45, giving you an update on the tropics and letting you know what our weather looks like. He'll be updating the 7-day forecast as well. Appreciate you watching this all the way through for the last 15 minutes. If you did, I will be back with you tomorrow morning. Have a great afternoon.